Good morning, Nebraskans. First, as a favor to all of you, so I'm going to take my time on the microphone today to talk about how it happened, like what actually happened. What happened in our caucus, what happened in the Committee on Committees, and how that differs from what precedent is. But I want to do all of you a favor and disabuse you of the idea that any of you are on a committee because you wanted it. Lest you think that you are on judiciary or government or appropriations or any committee because of your seniority or because of your incumbency or because of your preference. I promise you, as someone who is in the room, that is not why you are on that committee. If you are on a committee that you wanted, if you are currently sitting on a committee that you had been on before, if you are on a committee that you had the seniority to stay on or to join, that's not because the system was working. It's because the people in the majority who were in that room putting the matrix together of who's going to go on committees, it's because it worked for them, not because it worked for you. So that's something that we need to be clear on from the beginning. I put together a matrix easily that had everybody's incumbency respected. Nobody in my matrix was kicked off their committee. Everybody's preferences were considered in order of seniority, which is customary. And every single person in this body, whether you're a freshman or in your 6th year, got their first, second, or third choice. That is how that's good governance, that's best practices, that's how a good system is supposed to work, and it was easy to do, frankly. The people I worked with in my caucus did not all understand how to do this. The people in my caucus who were on committees, a couple of them had not been on the committee before, clearly did not understand or respect the seriousness of the process, because, colleagues, when you have the numbers to just beat the process over the head with a club, instead of actually considering what's best for your caucus, what your members want, the people who elected you to represent them on committees, when you don't take that seriously and you don't think about it surgically and look at a way to put together a matrix where everybody can get something they want and precedent is respected, then this is what happens. And honestly, I understand the temptation. If I was in the political majority in this body and I was working on a committee that I knew nothing about, that I had no experience in serving on, and I saw the numbers and I said, hey buddy, we can just roll these people, like let's just put everybody where we want them to be, and if they don't like it, we'll say, too bad, which, colleagues, is what happened, literally. That is what happened. Then I can see why it would be tempting to do that. That's a lot easier than working together. That's a lot easier than sitting down for a couple hours, which is how long it took me to put a good matrix together, and going through scenarios over and over and over again to make sure that people get what they want. We've got grandchildren to visit. We've got meetings to attend. We've got lobbyists to listen to. Like, I know that all of you feel very busy, but if you run for a leadership position, a lot of responsibility and trust comes with that. And one of the most dismaying things to me is that this trust and responsibility was taken for granted. It wasn't taken seriously. People with committee experience, thank you, Mr. President, people with committee experience and folks who are very familiar with the process were completely ignored. And I think that everybody should be really embarrassed about that. Even at the end of the day, if you win the day and you get your way, but you do it like this, that's not good work. That's nothing to take home to your constituents or your caucus members, your fellow colleagues, and say, we really did right by you. We really did something good here. No, what you did is you took the process and you beat it over the head with a club because you have the power to use brute force to get your way instead of following process and precedent that, as Senator Conrad said, the rules say we are bound by. As Senator Conrad said, absent a rule governing, the literal procedure that we do, In the absence of controlling, we go to controlling custom usage and precedent. In the Committee on Committees, in our caucuses, that never happened.
That's time, Senator.
And it's important that Nebraskans know that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank